this is probably going to be the most important education loan video you'll watch. Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to give you guys 3 things that education loan companies don't tell you when you go and get your loan. So I just got my education loan sanctioned and I'm going to be doing a video, discussing how much I got, what was the rate, and where did I get it from, the entire process, all that later. But I figured I would do like a quick video giving you guys like 3 very important tips that these companies didn't tell me directly, and I had to like ask them for it and sort of, figure it out myself. Okay, so there are 3 things in this video. So first part is going to be about your profile. The second part is going to be about the sanctioned amount, and the third part, well, we'll leave the third part until later. Okay, so let's get started with the profile. So as you guys know, right, education loan companies will decide your fate basically, how much money they'll give you and what interest rate they'll give you depending on your profile. So first thing that they look for obviously is your GPA, right? So if you have a GPA of approximately 8 or higher, that's what they like to see. That's the kind of candidates, that they give like excellent rates and high disbursement amounts to, right? So this exact number will vary across educational companies, and they'll probably have brackets, like, okay, it's like 8 to 9 is something, 9 to 10 is something, 7 to 8 is something, probably, I'm just guessing. But the point is that they will have like some sort of cutoff ratio, usually around 8 or a little bit less maybe, where they will decide, okay, this person is a good academic student and we should give them a more competitive rate. Second thing is your GRE. So for the GRE, they have like a cutoff around like 305. So if you get like 305 or higher, then they say like, okay, that's a decent GRE score, that's pretty good. Anything lower than that, they don't like. Okay, so obviously they're probably going to have brackets as well, like 305 to 315, 315 to 325, probably stuff like that. I'm just guessing. But the important thing is that your GRE does play a role in you getting an education loan. So if you are applying to Fall 22 and if you've made use of the GRE waiver, keep this in mind that not taking the GRE and not having a good score to submit towards your education loan might affect the amount and rate that you get. Okay, it obviously varies across companies. Next up is work experience. So work experience is actually kind of useful for an education loan, because for the education loan guys, what they like to see is, okay, if somebody has worked in a company before and they worked, like a pretty well-known company, made a lot of money and stuff, then they're probably going to graduate and work in an even better company and make even more money. So yes, having work experience will help you get like a better education loan offer. Third is which undergraduate institution that you're from. Obviously, this is kind of like, if you're from tier 1, that's the best. If you're from tier 2, tier 3, not that good, right? But what's more important is thing number 5, or like criteria number 5, which is the university you actually got into, right? So they love people that get into the Ivy League, they love people that get into like the top 50 universities or top 100 universities around the world. So if you get into like a really competitive university, they are going to give you a more competitive rate, looking at your academic standing and your potential to pay back the loan in time and all that. All right, so your target university, very important when it comes to deciding what kind of rate and amount that you can get. Okay, the 6th thing that they look for is the program you're actually applying to, right? So they like to see programs where essentially graduates tend to make a lot of money, right? So things like computer science and analytics and, like maybe even engineering programs, many engineering programs. So these programs are basically programs where candidates will graduate and get a lot of money. The next criteria, I think we're at 7. I think I lost count. The next criteria they look at is the country you're applying to. So if you get into like the US, that's sort of like the best, right? So if you get into the US, they give you like, the best rates and like, the best disbursement amount and all that, right? If you get into countries other than the US, they tend to not give so much. And if you're taking out a lower amount, then they obviously won't be able to make a lot of money off your interest, right? So what I mean by that is, let's say you're going to the US and you're taking 50 lakhs, right? Then they might charge you an interest of like 11% or something, okay? But if you're going to say Germany or something and you're only taking like 12 lakhs or like maybe 20 lakhs, then they'll charge maybe like 12 or 13% because the loan amount is so small, so the interest rate is going to be so low for them as well, right? So the target country is very important, not only for the actual loan amount, but also because American graduates tend to make a lot of money, and a lot more money than graduates at other countries, right? So that's why they prefer to have these American graduates, American students and all that. So those are all the different factors that education loan companies look for when providing you with an education loan. Okay, so that's thing number 1 that I learned from this education loan company. Before I get to the second thing, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel, because if you are applying to college, then we have a wealth of information that is going to help you out for free when you're actually applying to these colleges. Okay, so make sure you're subscribed. The second thing that I learned in this process from education loan companies is that the disbursement amount is actually really important. Okay, so traditionally, when you look for a loan, you're not really looking at the actual amount. You're more interested in the interest rate, right? So everybody's always asking like, okay, so what interest rate did you get? Oh, you got 9, oh, you got 10, or you got 11. That's generally what people look at, right? But you need to really consider the actual amount, loan amount that you get. Okay, the reason why is if your program, right, for the first year of tuition plus fees plus living expenses, they will give you some sort of amount. Okay, they will give you, let's say, 45 lakhs or something. The university will say that you need to have 45 lakhs in order for us to be like, okay, you know what, we can issue you the I-20. Right, so you need to show 45 lakhs in your account, right? So this means that you need to have this 45 lakhs either in your bank statement or through an education loan or scholarships and all that, right? So if you're someone that is not planning to, say, support themselves and are going to mainly depend on the education loan, like me, for example, then you need to make sure that your education loan will cover the entire amount, right? So if the university is asking for you to show proof of 45 lakhs, then you need to make sure that the disbursement amount matches 45 lakhs, or if you only got, say, 40, then you need to show that you have the other 5 lakhs or something in your own account in order for you to be able to get that I-20. But what you guys can actually do is whatever amount that they give you at first, you can actually ask for more. So if they give you like 30, you can ask for 40. Maybe they might not issue you 40, they might issue you, say, 37 or 38, but they're very likely to increase your limit. Right? And the thing is, even if you get 35 instead of 30, right? Let's say if you get 38 instead of 30, you don't have to take all of that 38, right? That 38 is there for you if you need to take it, and you don't need to reapply for the extra money or anything. And if you don't want to take 38, if you just want to take like some 15 or something, that's perfectly up to you. Okay. So the second thing that I learned from the whole education loan process is that the amount that you actually get is very, very important. You need to keep an eye on that. And the third thing that I learned through the whole education loan process is negotiation, okay? So there's always room for negotiation when you're applying to education loans, right? So what you guys need to do is you need to apply to like a bunch of different companies. So I applied to, I think, 4 companies, so that when I get different offers from each company, I can actually go back to them and say that, hey, you know what, I got a better offer from here. And so, will you please, decrease the rate or increase the amount and all that. Right? So negotiation is actually, there's a lot of room for negotiation when it comes to education loan offers. They might even decrease the processing fee. I had a friend who actually got his processing fee reduced by showing that he had another offer for like a similar rate, similar amount from a different company. Okay, so there's a lot of room for negotiation, and you guys need to pay special attention to this when you actually apply for education loans. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I learned from education loan companies. First is your academic profile is very important when you're applying for an education loan. Second is that the loan disbursement amount, the actual sanctioned amount, is also very important. That's something you need to pay special attention to. And third is a negotiation, right? There's always room for negotiation. You can always decrease the rate, increase the amount. All you have to do is just ask, and then maybe have some leverage from a different offer and all that. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you are applying to college, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we have a ton of information coming out every single week. And